Well, I would say good morning, friends, but it's not morning. It's actually 12:30. I've had kind of a crazy day. I got down here this morning at about 9 o'clock, found out we had a bit of a family emergency and had to go to the emergency room and so on, but everything is okay. And then I had to get my wife to a funeral. And when I came back, of course, I had to get working in the workshop because I work for Santa Claus. And in case you didn't know, Santa Claus is the man. He is the man, and I unfortunately work for the man, and the man ain't too kind to us elves out here. And I've got a lot of things people at the last minute have been wanting for Christmas to be able to get, and it's kind of like they're doing their last minute shopping, and I'm having to be the one to do the custom pieces, and so we're busting a hump. So as soon as I got back here, I went back in the shop, put a coat of paint or a coat of varnish on everything. Then, of course, we have Jerry Jones, who seems to be turning a little bit cold to Odell Beckham Jr. I think he's trying to force his hand on things. And so I said, I need to come down here, do my morning video, even though it is the afternoon, but I can't miss that. And get it up, and then when I'm done with this, I can put another coat of varnish on the prints and things and paints on stuff before I go out and pick up some fruitcake mix to take to my mama's house and get that squared away, and then come back, put another coat of varnish on things, get them ready for my shipping department, Michael Anthony Fitness Reaction Gig Economy, Inventables Extraordinaire / Electrician, to get those out to you guys. It's crazy in my life. There is never a dull moment, so to speak. But let's get to the news of this morning about what I originally wanted to talk about, which was we are having a change up in starters, potentially. Yesterday, Dan Quinn, who's feeling a little bit more pressure right now as injuries have mounted up. And let's be clear here. Dan Quinn did not forget how to coach. The thing is it's a long season, and you start losing players. Some unappreciated players have been lost. Leighton Vander Esch, as much as people talk about how bad he is actually helpful in our run game. We love Damone Clark in the story, but he's still a rookie and still getting his feet underneath of him. He's not ready to be, the next Ray Lewis, okay, just yet. Needs time and seasoning. We didn't like Jordan Lewis much, but he has actually missed quite a bit, as well as Anthony Brown, because we've got young pups out there like Kellen Joseph, a.k.a. Boss Man Fat. And yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Dan Quinn basically said, we've got an open competition opposite of Diggs. We got to do better in the position. And whoever is the one that can step up, and I don't care who you are or where you were drafted, you will be the guy. And that's what you have to do going down the stretch here. We cannot have what we had last week. Now, part of the cure for that is getting the defensive pass rush there. If they don't have enough time to get the ball deep, then it kind of helps out Kellen Joseph. And it's no, I'm a loss for words right now. But it's no coincidence that the deep passes are happening and that the pass rush is not getting to the quarterback. Those things go hand in hand. If you give an average quarterback enough time, he's going to find an open man. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That is a fact. So we need to be able to step up our pass rush and get to the quarterback, and we need cornerbacks that aren't biting like they did, like Kellen Joseph did for those 2 touchdowns. So that's where we are with that situation. Now, one that has been maybe a miscalculation by Jerry Jones, figuring that Michael Gallup was going to be the replacement for Amari Cooper coming back from a knee injury. Let's be clear here. Jerry Jones, as much as he talks about I'll write whatever check it takes to win the Super Bowl, made a penny-saving move on signing Michael Gallup on a cheaper contract because he was injured and getting rid of Amari Cooper. And that's where he's scrambling around trying to fix the situation. Couple of things that are interesting that happened today. Pro Football Focus, the boys at Pro Football Focus have gone on because, Skip, they watch a lot of football. And going through, they have a statistic on the interceptions. Since week 10, Dak Prescott has got 10 interceptions. And everybody is running crazy with saying, Dak Prescott, he's holding back the Dallas Cowboys. He's the reason why they're not winning. I dare say that lately that it's the defense not being able to hold leads. When you average 34 plus points a game since he's been back, you should win those games. But be that as it may, 10 interceptions since week 10. That sounds horrific. Until you find out that six of them aren't actually deemed the quarterback's mistake. That it's actually the receivers being in the wrong spot, the receivers batting the ball up and having it go back as a pick six. A defender making just an incredible play. Of those 10 interceptions, only 4 of them are deemed on Dak Prescott. Here's another interesting thing that's out here right now, which doesn't make any sense, but this is where it is. Dak Prescott, when going to CeeDee Lamb, who has definitely developed into that number one receiver. He's had several 100-yard plus games coming down the stretch where we looked at it and said, he's not getting those 100-yard ones. When Dak has been passing to CeeDee Lamb, he's got a 100.5% rating. It's great. This from Bob Stern. When passing to Noah Brown, it's 93.5, still really good. To Dalton Schultz, it's kind of dipped down to 83.1. Dalton Schultz is not having the season that he would have liked to have being on the franchise tag. I don't know that they franchise tag him again next year. I don't know that they give him the big contract because it's been a rough year for Dalton Schultz with the injuries and things. Especially now that you've got a Jake Ferguson and a Peyton Hendershot, younger guys that you look and say, maybe that's a spot where we can save some money. But be that as it may. Dak Prescott passing to everybody collectively is getting a 96.7, which is not bad at all. But here's the thing that's kind of crazy. That number is brought down tremendously by Michael Gallup. For some reason, passing to Michael Gallup is just not working. It's a 62.6 rating when Dak has gone to Michael Gallup. And we've seen going through this season how Michael Gallup has not been able to get a lot of separation, has not been able to get deep like he did. He's become, I said, more of a possession receiver, more than anything else. But here's what he's gotten the last several weeks. 2 yards against the Jags. He got 2 catches against the Texans for 40 yards. He got 4 catches from the Colts for 23. He got 5 against the Giants for 63, 3 against the Vikings for 41, 4 against the Packers for 35, and 4 against the Bears for 49. Michael Gallup has 31 receptions for 339 yards and 3 TDs, and only 10.9 yards per completion. Way, way down. And here's a question that I have right now is, are the Cowboys better off sitting Michael Gallup and putting in T.Y. Hilton for him? Let Michael Gallup get a break, get his head screwed on, get his body to heal up some more, and put in T.Y. Hilton. Right now, do we honestly look and say T.Y. Hilton can't average 2 catches a game? That he can't average 2 catches a game? Because basically that's where we are right now. 2 to 3 catches a game, about 25 yards. I think that it is time to make that move. But I don't know, again, coming back from injury, he probably doesn't have the same burst, doesn't have the same leaping ability. He's still getting on track. And I'm not giving up on Michael Gallup. But you have to start looking at the numbers and saying it may be time to sit Michael Gallup some and go through and say, let's see what we got with James Washington and let's see what we have with T.Y. Hilton as we get ready for the playoffs. Because here's the thing. The reality is we're not moving up beyond the fifth seed. Reality is we're not moving below the fifth seed. We're going to be playing the lowest seeded team in the playoffs that wins the division. That's either going to be Tampa Bay, the Panthers, the Saints, or Atlanta. All of them are with one game of Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay has been atrocious, 6-8, with the exception when they played the Cowboys. We're not moving off of that block. Let's get in our head. That's where we're going for week one of the playoffs. And we need to find out who is going to be the best receivers that we have. Jerry Jones seems to be cooling on Odell Beckham Jr., and Odell's probably not going to be ready anyway. So that's where we are with those situations. Now, I want to go to Rich Eisen because, I like Rich Eisen. Who had the worst weekend? The Colts, the Cowboys, the Patriots, or the referees?
Most disappointing weekend. Okay. Cowboys. You got to put them on there, TJ.
Rich, we made the playoffs. We're in the playoffs.
I know,
so
but do you feel good about it?
Come on,
oh, my
God.
God.
Playoffs?
You got to put the Cowboys there. And let me just
Playoffs?
tell you why, okay? Let me just tell you why. That defense is no pass rush right now. They couldn't get to Davis Mills or Jeff Driscoll or Trevor Lawrence. That's 2 weeks in a row. And here comes Jalen Hurts.
Maybe.
And if you want to, as a Dallas Cowboy, get past Tom Brady, who you're probably going to have to face, say all you want about the struggles of Tom Brady, but you let him sit back there and he can pick you apart. And at some point, the Buccaneers have put it all together. Maybe that might be 2023. I don't know.
Cowboys are favored next week.
I don't get it.
I mean, the Bears played. Did you watch any of the Bears-Eagles games?
All of the snaps of them, sir.
Well,
all of the
Bears
snaps.
Probably should have won that game.
Well, Justin Fields presents a problem that Dak Prescott doesn't. How does that sound?
Well, CeeDee Lamb presents a problem that Chase Claypool doesn't.
That's correct.
That's fair.
And your boy Pollard and Zeke present problems that similar to David. I won't say David Montgomery is nice.
That.
I'm not going to disrespect
Who's
that.
Who's going to guard A.J. Brown?
I'll tell you what. This is going to be a problem for Dallas. Of course, I think you can win the game.
Fun game,
obviously. Man. I totally think you can win the game. And I think you can win a couple playoff games, too. I firmly believe it. But you're going to have to start getting a pass rush going in a way that we just haven't seen in 2+ weeks. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, Matt Ryan was carving you up before the fourth quarter roof caved in on Indianapolis. I mean, the AFC South has presented a problem for the Cowboys all of a sudden that gives me pause. Mm-hmm. And they also blew a 17-point game on the road. And if we're going to torch the Raiders for doing that, I'll torch America.
The Raiders don't have.
Are we going to torch the Chiefs the same way we torched the Cowboys?
You know what? The Chiefs have not had a good couple of weeks either.
Okay.
But they've walked out with the wins, to use your phrase. It's funny. Like last week, you're like, we don't need details in the headline. And this week, now you'd like details in the headline. That wasn't Dak's fault. That wasn't this. That wasn't that.
The point was, we crapped all over the Cowboys last week for winning the game against this one team. And I'm not saying you, but the national media has not treated the Chiefs the same, and they had to go to overtime. That is my only point.
The Chiefs do not have a consistent enough running game, and if they're going to have to depend on one, I think they gave the ball to Isaiah Pacheco a couple of times in a row, and then he fumbled, and then he disappeared. And McKinnon can run it too, I guess.
McKinnon's been.
He has been.
That dude's going to win some fantasy leagues.
But I want the Cowboys.
He's that guy, Chris.
The Cowboys, I'd like the Cowboys on that list. The Colts have to be on that list. You want to talk about a horrible weekend. Patriots are on that list.
I'm actually relieved we lost, to be honest.
Why?
Because we stink. So what are we going to be, the 7th seed and lose by 40 in the playoffs again? At least this way we can lose out.
You'd rather not make the playoffs?
And have a better draft pick. I'd rather not make the playoffs than lose by 40.
Let's put a pin in this for the moment, but I don't blame you for feeling, disgruntled
I'm
today.
Relieved.
And the fourth one you have to put on there, NFL officials.
So who had the worst weekend?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the guys in the stripes should run away with this one.
I don't know about that. The Colts gave up a 33-point lead.
33-0.
The Patriots just had one of the stupidest ways to end a game
ever.
Yeah, but the strikes affected a lot of games.
And the Cowboys blew a 17-point lead, and they're and they back into the playoffs because the Giants came out of nowhere to beat the Commanders.
Mm-hmm. It's a crazy weekend.
I think the Cowboys are going to, I guess, win this poll by losing going away, but catch the Rich Eisen show every single day.
It was just, look, can we just call it what it was? It was just a crazy freaking weekend. This weekend just made no sense whatsoever. It was just a crazy, maybe the stars were misaligned and things like that, that it was just crazy. Maybe it was just scripted. Who knows? It was a lot of drama, to say the least. So, Minnesota, of course, had to come back from the Colts being down by 33. The Chiefs had to win in overtime against the Texans, the team we got killed for, beating in the last few seconds. And we, of course, lose. We have New England snatch defeat from victory. And, it's only the Cowboys that get talked about. Oh, well. We know how it is when we're the Dallas Cowboys. All right, so let me go ahead and get back up to the workshop, get some more work done in there real quick before I run out and do all the other stuff I got to do. I need more hours in the day, y'all. I need more hours in the day. But you know how we roll. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the show for the Sports Report. I wish for more time.